Water what waters you. So simple, so brilliant, and so helpful, and so hard to do. We just seem predisposed to water the thing that doesn't water us. And it's not like knowing that is helpful, because then at least you start from that position of going, it's not, I don't naturally water what waters me. I naturally do the opposite. Then you can begin the process of identifying, well, what actually waters me here? Which sounds simple. But once you get into it, you begin to hit into some hard truths. Relationships, family members, occupation. You begin to go, this does not water me. Whenever I'm around this person, I come away feeling not watered. I feel a bit withered. I feel a bit drained. And that can be hard when you realize it, because then it's not so much that you withdraw. Like, say if it's a family member or something like that, you can't just like withdraw from them. You might have to. No, that's not ruled out, but probably, in the less dramatic version of it, it shifts something inside you when you kind of go, yeah, this person does not water me, or I don't feel watered after being around this person. Then you stop kind of automatically doing things and trying to be a certain way and trying to be, a good brother or a good sister or a good father or a good daughter or a good son or whatever. You stop trying to do that because you've been told to do that. Because the sort of people who are no fun to be around or who are not very watering to be around, they will sort of tell you, you should respect me, you should do this to me, you should give me this, and you should, you have a lot of expectations on you of how you should behave towards them. Demands, really. And those demands will usually be put in childhood. And they can be hard to kind of go against, because we're kind of hardwired. I was saying to somebody the other day, family are comprised of the few people who know where all the nuclear codes are. They thought it was very funny. This idea of like, they know where all the buttons are and they know how to press them. I mean, there's great beauty and great love can be in families as well. But this is not just about families, it's people as well. This idea of, are these people watering me or not? And if they're not, it's not to kind of go, that's it, I don't want to be your friend anymore. I don't mean that. But it's more to kind of go, oh, okay, it just makes a subtle shift inside where you kind of go, I am going to focus more on things that water me. So it's not a case of, I've got to clear the decks of all the things that don't water me so I can bring in the things that do water me. It's just a shift in focus. It's just a reorientation. I love watching Game of Thrones, for example, but I always feel a bit horrible after it. And I kind of imagine if I was actually there and seeing people cutting each other up with swords or burning each other alive with dragons, I think I would be traumatized by that. So what is really how am I really being entertained? Something is being entertained, some part of me. But, after I ingest this thing, because we kind of think that what we watch on the telly is, just what do we think happens? That it doesn't have any effect on us? Of course it does. We consume it just like we consume food. And some things can be very exciting, but ultimately they can leave us feeling a bit horrible and a bit like, oh, people are a bit cruel. And it sort of puts a filter over our the way we look at the world. So it's like, is that watering me, really? And then you think about, maybe you watch another kind of show. It's a bit boring, it's a bit tame, it's a bit, but you check in afterwards and you're like, I do feel a bit watered by that. I feel a bit inspired. That was a lovely story. It was, it was very hard, and the person had a lot of things to come through, and then they got through and they made this great realization, and yeah, I'm inspired by that. So that's watering me. So it's like, oh no, does that mean I can't watch Game of Thrones anymore? The great thing about it is you can do whatever you want, but it's this thing of like, the more you focus on things that water you, like a lovely little plant, we grow. We grow a bit quicker, you know? We're not out in the harsh sunlight with no water. We're being taken care of. We're in a nice spot that we like. We're getting watered. So there's that. Then there's the things that we don't do, but that do water us. You know? Let's say you work in an office and you really like painting pictures. But it's, I get home from the office, by the time I have my dinner, and I don't have any energy for that. I get that. I've been there. We've all been there. But if you begin to look for things that water you, you can find ways of bringing those things a little bit closer. Maybe you like running. Maybe that'll you feel watered when you do that. Maybe you like to cook, and maybe you can figure out how to bring that a bit closer to you. Maybe you like singing. Maybe you like playing an instrument. Maybe you like to find a way to do more of the thing you like and less of the thing that you don't feel watered by. Maybe your office job doesn't water you. Maybe it does. Maybe you love it. When you start to think about things in that kind of way, using that kind of filter, then the things that don't water you, they begin to get less and fall away. And then you're on the lookout for things that do water you. That person, nobody else likes that person, but I really enjoy hanging out with that person. Or maybe they're super popular. And you feel a bit, they wouldn't want to be my friend. I wouldn't care about that. If I felt like they watered me, I'd try and be around them at least, if it helped me. So once you start to look out for and make this distinction, is this watering me or not? You can slowly, little by little, grow into a much more watered kind of life. And that's beautiful.